Well, here we are at the end of another life cycle for Call of Duty, talking about Modern Warfare 2019, of course. And we're just a few days away from the release of Black Ops Cold War. And so I thought it'd be a good time for me to sit down and kind of go through a tier ranking here of all the Call of Duty games that I've played. I've been playing, well, I've played since the very, very first one, although I've only started multiplayer in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the original one back in 2007. So I thought we'd go through this list, kind of give you my perspective as a 50-year-old gamer on how I rank these games, and then also talk a little bit about Modern Warfare 2019, and kind of do a not really a eulogy, because I don't think the game's going to be dead even in the foreseeable future, but just kind of wrap it up at the end of its life cycle here. So starting out, I'm going to try to go in chronological order here, and starting out with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It came out in 2007. To me, this is just the classic Call of Duty. This is, to me, what I compare every other Call of Duty to. It has so much nostalgia with it. It was the first multiplayer I played. I remember playing on the map Ambush. It was the first game I played, free-for-all. First time playing multiplayer, and I remember spawning 3 times in the same place and getting spawn killed 3 times in the same place. But I stuck with it, ended up finding a great group of people to play with, and we played for years and years, all the different Call of Duty games. But this one, I've got to put it up here in the very top, the God tier Call of Duty. I know it had its problems. I know there were things that weren't great about it, but it just has so much nostalgia that I've got to put it there. It's just iconic. That's all I can say about it. Next up in 2008, we had Call of Duty World at War. I love that World War II genre. That's what I liked about the first 3 Call of Duties, the original ones. I loved the maps on here. They were large. They weren't too large like Battlefield, but they were larger than Call of Duty standards for sure. I loved the boots on the ground, of course, gameplay, the gun gameplay. Of course, you had Kiefer Sutherland as well doing voiceovers. We had the introduction of dogs, which I think everyone had fun with. Some really great maps like Castle on there that were just really became classic maps for Call of Duty. And they did a great job of integrating vehicles into the game without it becoming too intrusive. So because of what it is, it's a World War II game. I'm going to have to put it up there with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I've got great memories of that game. I remember doing private matches with friends, pistols only, snipers only, on some of those huge maps. And that, to me, if that game was playable today, in the biggest sense of the term, playable with a good multiplayer population, I would be on it for sure. Moving on to 2009, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I know a lot of people love this game, and I'll give it some props. It had some good things going on with it. It had the introduction of pro perks, which I thought were really good. Of course, I hated the death perks. Those things frustrated me to no end. I thought the maps overall were okay. They were good. We had a good set of modern guns here in Modern Warfare 2. But I just did not enjoy this game overall. I remember linking back about that game when MW3 came out, and I was so glad to be done with MW2. It's hard for me to put my finger on it, but there was just something about that game that just frustrated me. The new attachments and things begin to get a little more modern, and I just started not liking it. This was probably the first COD game where I really got annoyed, where I was just getting tired of playing the game. We talk about Modern Warfare 2. It was broken. I mean, it was a really broken game in a lot of ways. So if I'm going to rank that thing somewhere, I'm going to actually put it down here in the C tier. It just had so many things going against it from my perspective that I'm just going to have to put it down here. I was glad when that game was over. I remember doing a video on MW3 years ago, and I remember one of the things I liked about MW3 was that it wasn't MW2. So you may not agree with that ranking, but I just did not like MW2 at all compared to all the other ones. Moving along here, we're going to find our Treyarch game, Black Ops, the one that came out in 2010. This, to me, is just another classic, iconic Call of Duty game. One of my favorite themes, which is the Cold War setting. We had Vietnam, so I like that time period. We had the introduction of Call of Duty points, which was something that was just in-game currency. It wasn't anything you had to buy. And in addition to the points, we also had contracts, which I thought was a pretty neat addition. It kept the game interesting. I really liked the inclusion of theater mode. I thought that was real handy, particularly for folks who were trying to make content. It was great to be able to go back and watch matches and save them, and even look at other players and see if you thought somebody was cheating. You could go back and watch them on theater mode. It had a great combat record. I think that's one of the things a lot of people talk about with Black Ops was the great combat record that it had. They also had combat training, the introduction of that, which I thought was really fun. You could play with bots. You could experiment with different weapons, learn the maps. Or if you just didn't feel like going online and playing against real people, you could play against the bots. So I'm going to put Call of Duty Black Ops up here again with the other iconic games for Call of Duty. I think that one is just going to be a classic always, at least for me. Back in 2011, we had a Modern Warfare 3 that came out. This was very similar, of course, to MW2, but I'm going to give it a little better ranking than I did MW2. I know a lot of people didn't like the shotguns, but I really enjoyed the weapon balance in that game, especially enjoyed the shotguns. They were finally very usable as primary weapons. You had a good variety of maps throughout the whole life cycle of MW3, but you also, one of my complaints was you really begin to notice the lag. And if we want to even go back then and call it lag comp, we can, lag compensation, whatever name you want to put on it. I just really remember that being noticeable in MW3. So if something had changed there, I remember the spawns being really bad in MW3, complaining about that a whole lot. And of course, I hated Last Stand. That was something that just didn't belong in the game, but it was there. But I am going to rank it one tier higher than MW2 because it didn't annoy me as much as Modern Warfare 2 did. So I'll rank it in the B tier here. 2012, we had Treyarch again and Black Ops 2. Another great game in that genre, that sort of Cold War, sort of gritty look to it that we might not have had in some of the other games. We had the Pick 10 system. That was something new. I really liked that. Gave you some variety. I enjoyed using wild cards. Gave you some more flexibility in your creative class. Overall, the gameplay, I think, in Black Ops 2 was really good. I wasn't overly thrilled with some of those futuristic components. As I begin to rank all these Call of Duty games, you'll obviously notice I'm not a big fan of the futuristic Call of Duties. But I didn't like where they started to creep in here in Black Ops 2. But it was a good game for the most part. And if I was going to rank this, I'm going to put it up here in the A tier. It had some things I didn't like, but it was, to me, again, close enough to classic Call of Duty that I'm going to give it a good ranking. Now, this next one is kind of a problem, I guess, for a lot of people. 2013, we had the introduction of Call of Duty Ghosts. Wow, a lot of people hated this one. You either loved it, maybe, or hated it, or maybe you were just stuck in the middle. But I actually thought that Ghosts was a good game. I actually enjoyed playing it. Again, I enjoyed the larger maps. I like that kind of variety in a Call of Duty game. I like the faster time to kill, the faster TTK. I had fun with the squad system. You know, that was something that was very different. And it was just something else you could work on or work toward to playing offline, playing your squad against other people's squads. So I thought that was a fun inclusion. It was kind of a unique idea, I think, that they had. I enjoyed most of the maps in Ghosts. Like I said, I liked the size. I think that was some of the best maps in Call of Duty, actually. I thought the new perk system was interesting. It allowed a lot of customization, went beyond the Pick 10, and I thought it added a lot of variety in your loadouts in your creative class. I'm probably in the minority here, but I would put Call of Duty Ghosts up here in the A tier, and I know a lot of people probably would not agree with that. You might not agree with that, but I'm going to put it there with some of the best games. I really did enjoy it. My biggest complaint, though, with Ghost was I thought the graphics were not very good. To me, it seemed like a downgrade, even though it was technically back then a next-gen game. I remember you bought a copy for the 360, and then also you had a copy for the Xbox One, for example. I just didn't think the graphics were that good. I had a lot of trouble seeing enemies. The scaling on Ghost was different in some way. There was just something quirky about Ghost in terms of its graphics, its fidelity. It seemed to just deviate from that usual look and feel of Call of Duty. But nonetheless, overall, I'm going to put it in the A tier because I thought overall it was a really solid game. This next one in 2014 is the one that people love to hate, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I don't really have a lot to say about this game. I very much dislike advanced movement. This one pushed futuristic Call of Duty way beyond anything I was ever looking for. I'm just going to put this down here and be honest. I thought it was trash. Did I play the game? Yes. Did I enjoy it the whole time I was playing it? No. Way too much verticality. I remember you could get a crick in your neck trying to keep up with people, flying through the air, bouncing off the walls, going up on rooftops. It was just beyond anything that I was expecting from Call of Duty. So did not enjoy that game at all. So I'm going to leave it there in the trash bin, down in the trash tier. Next up in 2015, we had Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So we're still in this futuristic era here with Black Ops 3. This was probably my least favorite Treyarch game of all time, at least to date. We'll see how we go with Black Ops Cold War. Too futuristic, not quite as bad as Advanced Warfare. I was not a fan of the specialist system that they introduced, and I began to find, this is where I really began to find it hard to distinguish enemies from teammates, because we had too many people, looking the same, or there wasn't as much distinction. That's one of the things I love about the World War II games. You had allies and you had Axis. It was really easy to tell who was on your team and who wasn't. But Black Ops 3 just, too gimmicky to me, really overall. It was an okay game. Some of the maps were fine, and the gameplay was okay. I don't have a complaint about that. I just didn't like the feel of it. I didn't like where they were going with that. So I'm going to put that in the C tier. Call of Duty in 2016 brought us Infinite Warfare, another one of the most hated Call of Duty games, I guess, for the most part. Aside from Advanced Warfare, this was probably my least favorite Call of Duty overall, if I'm just looking at every developer, all the different studios. Again, I'm not a fan of this advanced movement. I'm not a fan of that futuristic Call of Duty game. The combat rigs really was just another way to do specialists by another developer. They were specialists, just with a different name, combat rigs. So for Infinite Warfare, I'm going to put that down here in the D tier. I didn't like the laser guns in Call of Duty. I just really didn't like that futuristic design of the game. The movement wasn't quite as bad, of course, as Advanced Warfare, but still, that was more than what I wanted for a Call of Duty game. So 2017 brings us back to, I guess we can call it reality a little bit. We had Call of Duty World War II. That one had a rocky start. I like that genre, though. I was glad to go back to boots on the ground, but it had a shaky start. Sledgehammer Games had a rough go at the beginning. They had change in leadership, change in the head of the company. The two guys that left, Condrey and I forgot the other guy that left. And they began to listen, I think, a little more to the community, and they began to make changes sort of through the halfway through the life cycle of the game. So I thought it did get better as it went along. I wasn't a big fan of the division system. Again, that was really specialists with just a different name. The division system to me was too constraining. It really kept you from playing the way you wanted to play. If you wanted to have a certain setup, a certain loadout, you had to choose a certain division. And I was just not really all that interested in leveling up all those different divisions over and over and over again. Headquarters, I know some people like that, and in and of itself, I didn't have a problem with it, but it was totally unnecessary. It was kind of an interesting diversion. I liked the firing range. I thought it was a good thing. I think every Call of Duty should have a firing range to be able to test out your weapons, but I thought HQ was really unnecessary. I enjoyed the war mode, though. I liked the idea behind it. Although, after you played that for a few months, it got a little stale. Every map in war was played the same way. You knew that the tanks were coming down these three routes. You knew you had to build barricades. You knew you had to stop the tanks, or depending on if you were offense or defense. But the games played the same over and over and over again. So they got stale really, really fast. Even though I liked the idea behind the mode overall, it was just way too repetitive. Overall, though, the look of the game I thought was really good. I liked the gameplay in World War II, so I'm going to put it in the B tier. It was a return to, I guess we'll call it classic Call of Duty. At least nobody was flying through the air, but it had some problems. I didn't like the division system. I thought the score streaks were pretty weak in that. But overall, I like the gunplay. I like that classic World War II Call of Duty. So being what it is, I'm going to rank it kind of high and put it in the B tier. Going back to Treyarch again, they brought us another new game in 2018, Black Ops 4. I was really concerned about Black Ops 4 when it first came out. It was another futuristic Call of Duty, not quite as bad as some of the other ones, but it was still in the future. But if I was going to rank the futuristic games, I would probably rank Black Ops 4 as probably the best of the future games. So I'm going to put that one in the B tier. Still not a fan of the specialists, although they weren't quite as obnoxious in Black Ops 4 as they were in the earlier Black Ops. They had toned down a bit from Black Ops 3. I thought the maps were good. Overall, I can't think of any map I just really didn't like. I didn't have a problem with the maps. You had the traditional sort of 3-lane Treyarch kind of maps there, pretty predictable. Overall, the gameplay was fast. It was a nice little break from playing a year of World War II, sped the game up a little bit, and I thought the game was interesting. My main gripe with Black Ops 4, and really why I quit playing it and got aggravated with it, was the microtransactions. And I guess if we want to stick something else on it, skill-based matchmaking. But really, I hated their microtransactions. I didn't like their DLC model. I didn't like their supply drops and the loot crates and every other name you want to put on it. Really aggravated me. I didn't really like that at all, and it gave me a bad taste for Black Ops 4. So that brings us to 2019, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This one, it reminds me of Ghost a little bit in terms of how people responded to it, even though it sold immensely tremendously well, even though it's made, Activision a ton of money, not just in game sales, but also in after-game, post-game sales of customized items. But I'm going to put Modern Warfare in the B tier. I'm tempted, if there was a way I could do it, I'd put it between A and B, because it had a lot of things that I liked about it. A lot of things that were good. Of course, Modern Warfare had, I think most people all would agree, that it had great graphics, really had a wonderful look to it. It had that Battlefield sort of graphic fidelity to it. The feel of the game, I didn't have a problem with. I liked the movement. I liked the mechanics, the gunplay. All that was really done really well. They did a lot of things right, and that's why I would put it in the B tier. A lot of people's complaints for Modern Warfare, of course, have been the maps. And, again, as far as the looks of the map, the graphics of the maps, I thought they did a great job. A lot of detail, a lot of small things that they didn't have to do that they did. That gave the maps some life. They were very organic. Not your normal 3-lane predictable maps, and there was a good bit of verticality, which I like in a Call of Duty game. It wasn't the same old map style, I guess we'd say, from the other Call of Duty games. So it was good that they did something different, but that was also a negative. You talk about porous maps. I've never played a Call of Duty game where I had so many different places I could get shot from. The verticality, while that's a plus, it's also a negative, because they slapped a window on the side of every building in Modern Warfare 2019. And you could, you've seen videos probably on YouTube where someone would cross the street and, they get shot from, 10 different directions. And again, that was a negative, but it was also part of a plus too, because they did such a good job in the graphics side of the maps. The doors were totally unnecessary, really broke up the flow of the game. You're running through the map, fast-paced shooter, you're running through the map, and then you either have to bust through a door and make so much noise that everyone in the whole match can hear you, or you have to come to a screeching halt and decide how you're going to open the door. And more than likely, you're going to open it, and you're going to get either killed by a claymore, or somebody's going to be sitting in a corner, they're going to shoot you or hit you with a shotgun when you walk in the door. So, the doors were just totally unnecessary. I think it just was more aggravating than it was beneficial. I don't think the footsteps in Modern Warfare 2019 ever got to a good place. They were either too loud or they weren't loud enough. I don't think they ever got them dialed in exactly, at least from my perspective. I got tired of seeing people crouch walking because everyone was so afraid of making noise. Of course, you had a lot of people complaining about the camping in Modern Warfare 2019. All those things affect the gameplay, and I don't think the devs were really sure what kind of game they wanted to create. If they had wanted to make a tactical shooter, then they should have went full out tactical shooter and made a game like Rainbow Six Siege or something along those lines, and just said, here's the game, we hope you enjoy it. But they were trying to add too many tactical components, at least in my opinion, into what is Call of Duty, which is a fast-paced arcade type shooter. And the two I don't think just did not mesh very well at all, because I think the devs, at least from my perspective, they were unsure what kind of game they were making. That puts us as a player base, as the Call of Duty community, in a strange place, because we don't know how to play the game. Do we play it tactical? Do we still run around and play it like any other Call of Duty game? And I know most everybody says, well, you've got to adapt. You have to adjust. But I think Modern Warfare 2019 just threw too many things in the mix at one time for us to have to adjust to. It forced us to play a certain way, really just to overcome the shortcomings, I think, in the game. So I still liked Modern Warfare. I think it had so much good going for it, but there were just things about it that tired me out. I got tired of the intensity of every match, and I know a lot of people talk about how sweaty Modern Warfare is. Again, whether that's, some kind of strict skill-based matchmaking or whatever it is, we can come up with a name for it. But, I just grew tired of playing that game, literally, after playing a few matches. They were, as we all talk about, they were very sweaty. Every match seemed like it was a tournament. And look, I'm an average, or, I'm sometimes a 1.3 KD player or better, depending on the game. But, I'm not a super great player. So, it's not like I was playing against pros all the time. Every match I played was just hard. I had to play as hard as possible in order to have, a chance at winning. And oftentimes felt like I was, as bad as I am or average as I am, I felt like I was pulling the weight of my team in a lot of cases. So because of that, I kind of quit playing Modern Warfare, regularly back in July and August of 2020, and it just wore me out. I got tired of it. Now again, I had if I'm going to give it one compliment, it's going to be the Battle Pass system. No extreme microtransactions in Modern Warfare. It wasn't a play to win kind of thing. So that was a good thing. I'm glad that they did that, and hopefully they saw that was still profitable for them, and that will end up being the system that we have in Black Ops Cold War and other games going forward. But I wasn't really interested in this seasonal leveling system. I prestiged in most every Call of Duty and usually went to Prestige Master just, to keep the game interesting. Was not a fan of the seasonal leveling. It really was pointless to me, and was not really interested in all those officer challenges for the most part. Kind of hard for me to rate Modern Warfare 2019. It has so much good there, but it just got me tired so fast. Part of me wants to put it up here in A tier, but I'm going to have to leave it in B. I don't want to be too hard on it and put it in C tier, so I'm going to leave it on B. So here we are getting ready for Black Ops Cold War. I'm looking forward to finding out how the finished version, or as finished as any game is on release, how it pans out. Get past the beta version, get past the alpha versions, and get to something that's hopefully cleaned up a good bit and it's got some of the bugs worked out of it. And just to see what they come up with. So I'm looking forward to Black Ops Cold War coming out this week. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about my ranking system? And I didn't rank any of these older Call of Duty at the bottom because I didn't play multiplayer, and that's really what I was focusing on here. What was your favorite Call of Duty? Which one did you not like, at all? Would you agree with my Advanced Warfare in the trash, or maybe you were a fan of it? Let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you're excited about, for Black Ops Cold War coming out here in a few days. So appreciate you guys watching the video and spending a few minutes with me, and I hope you guys have a great day.